Hi, welcome to this Scratch tutorial. This one is called Make It Fly. We're going to make the sprites fly and do various things. We are going to be following some very specific directions, and we're going to use the design process. After each page we will test our creation. So we'll create, test, and improve our code as needed. All right, page 1, first direction, we will need a new backdrop. So I'm going to go to the bottom left corner, choosing the new backdrop icon and double-clicking Blue Sky 2. That's the one we want. Now step 2 says to get a new sprite. It is implied that we need to get rid of the old sprite first, so I'm going to click on him on the bottom left corner where the workspace is there, and I'm going to select scissors and bye-bye kitty. All right, and now I'm going to get a new sprite, which is what is in the directions under new sprite and the tiny small sprite. I'm going to look at the flying sprites. They will work best with this project. You may click any of them that you would like. I'm going to click the cat because that's what's in the directions. I just click and OK or double click. Okay, good deal. Step number 3, add this code. We're starting out with an event when the green flag is clicked. Then we're going to have him go to the front. We're going to the looks options because being in the foreground or the front of the scene is an appearance. It's a look. It's a thing we want him to do for his looks. So I've got go to front somewhere in the looks options. It's toward the bottom. I'm going to have to find it and move the go to front to when the green flag is clicked. The second thing to add is say time to fly for 2 seconds. All right, we'll need the very first say option there because it lets me type in text and it is for a number of seconds. So instead of hello, we'll do as the directions say and say time to fly. Exclamation mark, and 2 seconds is the right time according to the directions. All right, we've created, now it's time to test. To test it, we just simply stop and start our code and see if it worked. We wanted him to say time to fly, and he did. No improving is necessary. So we'll go on to the next page, the next direction page. Now we need to find another sprite. So I'm going to sprites and new sprite. This time I'll need a building. I'm going to things and buildings. Double clicking it. It's my thing, but you can click and OK. All right, I've got the buildings. And now I need to add this code according to the directions. I'm going to add an event of when the green flag is clicked. And then we'll go for some control. We're going to use the forever loop. And it looks like a Pac-Man. We just need to feed it, give it something in its mouth. And the first thing to give it is an XY coordinate map here. So we need to find where it is located or where it's going, and it will be a motion thing. Anytime you see X or Y as coordinates, it means somewhere on the XY coordinates on this screen, on this backdrop. So there's just an invisible XY screen there labeling every point there. So the coordinate that the directions say to set him at is set X. That will be the horizontal longwise location to 250, which would be the furthest right. You wouldn't have any reason to know that, but that's how wide this particular screen is. It's 250. So I'm going to set X to 250. So I'm going to put 250 in that very small box. And then, strange as it sounds, we're going for another control option of repeat within forever. Does that seem redundant? Okay, anyway, we're going to repeat 100 times according to the directions. So I'll need to click in there and get yet another 0. This is very picky. You'll need to look at those directions. And then within this repeat loop, we'll be changing x again by a -5. So anytime it's an xy thing, it's a motion. We're moving him to a certain xy location on that backdrop. All right, let's look for the change x. Hello, change x by, and we want a -5. If you'll remember in a previous lesson, whenever we used a negative number, the character goes back. So we're going to have him do some backward motion. Interesting. Ah, I see what they're going to do. They're going to give us a visual of movement. It fools the eye, trompe-l'oeil. It's where the background moves and the character stays still, so it makes the character look like he's moving. Oh, this is crazy. Now, if you'll notice, all this code is going to the buildings. All these actions, all of this is going to the buildings. So the buildings are going to look like they're moving, and the kitty's going to be still. But our eyes and our minds are going to say, of course, buildings don't move. It's the flying cat that is making the motion. Okay, so anyway, it's a crazy way to go about it, but we're moving the background to make the sprite appear as though he is flying. All right, and now it's time to test. So I'm going to do the stop with the stop sign and the green flag start and see what happens. Voila! The background moves, but it looks like our sprite is flying. Okay, very good. If that messes with your eyes, we can just click that stop sign and move on to the next. So we created the code, we tested it, and again, no improvement was necessary. It worked as expected. All right, that was page 2. We are going on to page 3. All right, page 3. It says, click to select the building's sprite. Okay, that's what we have done. We have the building's sprite selected. Then they want us to click the Costumes tab. The main idea here is to look at the different costumes that this building actually has. Now, he doesn't have different t-shirts or anything like that. He just has different looks. And all of those different looks are attributes of that one sprite, the building. Interesting. They have lots of costumes. All right, meanwhile, that was just a little show and tell here. We need to get back to the scripts because our next activity, our next thing on this list is to add some code, some more code. The building already has some, but we're going to make more code. Here's some additional code. We're going to the events and when the green flag is clicked, and then, you guessed it, we're going to control some things again. Under control, we're going to get the forever loop, the forever Pac-Man, and within it will set another x coordinate. So I'm going again to motion. That's where all the xy coordinates will be, is motion. And it's set x to 250. So I'm clicking set x and dragging it into the forever loop, but I have to click in that small text box and type the number. The directions say set to 250. If you recall, that is the farthest right location on the backdrop. The next thing is to change the costume. If you'll remember, we got to take a look at the costume. Now, costumes are looks or appearance, so they'll be under the purple looks options. And I need to just say next costume because it knows it has several, and if it has several, it just rotates to the next, and then back to the first when it's done. All right, so forever, set X to 250, and next costume. Done. Now, yet another loop repeating inside the forever loop is necessary. It's a little crazy, but you've got to get that configuration just right. Those loops have to be the repeat loop within the forever loop. And then there's only one thing in it. It's change x by -5. And you know, changing x or y is always going to be in the motion. So change x by, I need change, the word change. Change x by, and I need a -5. As you recall, that's a leftward or backward motion. All right, this is the end of this page. We need to test it. We've created. Now let's test. I'm going to stop and start using the stop sign and the green flag and see what happens. Wow, different costumes, crazy. So the buildings actually turn into different buildings. I'm going to stop that because that seems very slightly off. Oh, I see exactly what happened. All right, so here's what happened. We tested, and I see a need for improvement. Under the repeat loop, that number had a change. It was supposed to be 100 instead of 10. So I'm adding a 0. All right. So I improved. Okay, we tested, and found something to improve, and improved it. So now let's test it again. See if we got this. But let's never go to the next step until we have tested and improved to the max, the step we're on. So that's what we're doing. Let's try this one out. Oh, this looks a little better. All right, we have the buildings going all the way across the stage. All right, very good. Okay, crazy, but I am going to stop that because it could get a little annoying. All right, so we are now done with that page. Very good, guys. Very, very good. Now, we are moving on. The very next page starts with Get Ready. Click to select your flying sprite. Alrighty, I'm clicking on this cat. Your flying sprite may be some other kind of butterfly or a monster, I don't know. But anyway, select your flying sprite. Now, they would like us to add some more code. Ooh, crazy. All right, more events. They would like us to take this when space key is pressed and make it use the arrows. So they start with the up arrow, and when the up arrow is pressed, they want to change Y, or make the Y-axis, you know, the vertical up and down, go up. Kind of makes sense. So, of course, the XY stuff is in motion, and I need to change Y by 10. All right, change Y by 10. Hey, it's the default. I love that. That means it's there already. Okay, cool. Now they would like to try the down arrow. Oh, boy. Another event, and when the down arrow is pressed, I have to grab the one that says the space bar and then click on space and get the down arrow. Cool. Now back to emotion. When the down arrow is pressed, they want us to go down. So it'd be changing Y by a -10. I just need to sneak a negative sign in front of that. All right, now what do you know? You guessed it. They want us to use the left-right arrows also. So when the space bar is pressed, whoop, that's the one I need, but I need to set it back to, let's see here, left arrow first. All right, and then I need to change X by -10, because if it's going left, it should be negative. All right, motion, X, -10. All right, let's see here. Change. It has to start with the word change. Now I've got change X by 10. I need a -10. All right, last one. I know you know what it is. We've done the up arrow, the down arrow, the left arrow, and now, you guessed it, it's time for the right arrow. All right, so we're going to actually get to play with the arrow keys on the keyboard and get this thing to work. All right, with the right arrow, I want this thing to go to the right 10, or change X by a +10. Cool. We just coded this to make use of the up, down, left, right arrow keys on the keyboard. All right. Now we created. Now it's time to test. All righty. I'm going to stop and start this sequence. Okay, stop sign, then the green flag. Now, business as usual, you know, he's going time to fly, buildings are going by. Now I'd like to see if the arrow keys work. I'm going up, oh cool, and down. Oh, and he can go left and right. Oh, this is so cool. It's like Rocky the Flying Squirrel. All right, very nice. I hope you had these results as well, but if you did not, you can simply check your code and improve it. You can look back at the directions, and remember, these are very precise directions. The numbers have to be correct, the negatives and positives have to be correct, the timing has to be correct. Picky, picky, picky. Good luck, have fun, and show off when you're done.